Elvis would come to find that the residents of the courts formed a strong community, and he soon became comfortable in this new home.
It was an area where people live in the same apartments. It gave you an identity. Where do you live? You don't live on 7th Street or 5th Street. You live in Lauderdale Courts. Well, everybody knew about the Lauderdale Courts. Everybody knew the conditions of the apartments and the atmosphere that went on there. Actually, sometimes had a little rough name, but it really wasn't that bad. I don't really remember any people there that... I don't remember one person ever even went to juvenile courts. And for about 350 families, that's pretty good. It was really a good place to grow up in those days.
In 1949, Elvis enrolled as a freshman in Humes High School. Here he had an entirely new community to grow accustomed to.
I first met Elvis it was either the 8th or 9th grade at Humes High School. And he was a little country boy from Mississippi and had come up here, and he was so pitiful looking. You know, he just had country hair and country clothes and country talk. And we all thought he was cute, but we kind of laughed at him.
We're gonna kiss and the kiss and the kiss and the kiss and we're gonna kiss some more. Who cares how many times we kiss? 'Cause at a time like this, who keeps score?
I met Elvis in Memphis, Tennessee at Humes High School when we were going to high school. He dressed a little different from the rest of them, but not that much. He wasn't. You didn't look at him or think about him like anything weird. He was as normal as anybody else, and had his sideburns and played guitar and sang.
Humes was a wonderful school to go to. It went from the 7th grade to the 12th, so it was a junior high and a senior high. And the people came from all areas around there, and some of the areas were very nice. Actually, the people who lived there had good paying jobs at some of the new factories that were opening, and worked at the hospitals in that area. So it was a diversity of people, just like there is now at a school.
It was kind of a low-end high school in a low end of town. They weren't considered from elite families. They were from hard-working families. Most of them walked to school, some of them quite a distance. Not a lot of the students had their own car like some do today, or like some of the other high schools did. Most all of the students worked after school. They worked jobs. It was just, you might say, a working community high school.
Conscious that he was both the new kid on the block and beginning at a new school, Elvis took his time forming friendships and at first kept very much to himself.
Elvis, while attending Humes High School, was just an average student who really didn't stand out in any one thing. He was just a kid that when he walked down the hallway from one class to another, he was just another one of the kids that walked down the class. And so many of the people who were in classes with him were talking about how he rarely talked. The one thing that he had the passion for was his guitar and his music, you know.
Elvis was very shy at school. He was not an extroverted guy. He wasn't trying to be the class clown. He wasn't trying to show off with his singing or his guitar. He just did it in a real nice, quiet way. Didn't bother anybody. He didn't step on anybody's toes. He just did it in his own way to show that he also had something that was different. And as you look back on it now, it was pretty sharp the way he did it.
Elvis was not shy and withdrawn among friends. In fact, he was a class cut-up in several of his classes. If the teacher liked him, and he had several friends in there who egged him on and liked him, he was quite the cut-up. So it was just according to what group of people he was with.
Well, he fit in well for what was going on. He wasn't, he didn't spend much time at the community centers or the dances and stuff like that after hours. Most of his time after hours away from school was the things that we had around the courts and the things we did together. private parties where we'd go to somebody's birthday party or something like that we did, but most of his time spent social activity was us doing things. We went to church some, we cut the grass together, we went to football games, we did the cotton carnivals, all that stuff. It was a group of us that usually got together.
In contrast with his Tupelo days, Elvis was far more reluctant to make people aware of his musical ambitions. Few knew that this future king of rock and roll had any musical ability at all.
When he lived over at Lauderdale Courts, when he first moved over there and had his guitar, he would only play at nighttime with the lights off out in the courtyard. He didn't want people to see him, you know, but he had this passion for wanting to entertain and wanting to be known as an entertainer. I'm breaking it down between singer and entertainer, you know, wanting to entertain, to bring joy to people through his music.
Elvis, I didn't first discover he was into music. I discovered that what a voice he had. He would sing the ballads, he could pick the guitar a little bit, not much, but I was impressed even at that time with the voice that he had. And like most kids, he was a little bit shy, getting in front of the crowds and what have you. But then, first thing you know, we'd have a party. He'd be playing the guitar out in front of the house, in front of people, getting a little bit more comfortable with music. But he was still shy at that time.
Like Tupelo, Memphis had a large black population and in the 1950s was still suffering from racial inequality and segregation. But, as in his childhood, Elvis was keen to draw influence from all walks of life.